and welcome to Business 360. I'm Arundhati Ramnan, and here are the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Global markets remain on edge after the U.S. Fed hikes rates by 25 basis points despite the banking turmoil. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's statements ruling out a blanket insurance for all deposits rattles financial stocks. Dalal Street ends at the low point of the day after failing to hold on to early gains. Sensex loses nearly 300 points, Nifty down 75 points. Bank stocks lead the decline. Inflation continues to bite Motown. Maruti Suzuki announces price hikes starting April across various models. Tata Motors, Honda and Hero Motor are among the many automakers to announce price hikes from April. Anil Agarwal denies any intention of selling his stake in Vedanta. This after reports suggested Agarwal is considering various options, including a minority stake sale to raise funds and reduce the debt burden. The centre seeks legal opinion as it considers regulations to curb operations of e-pharmacies. Sources say that the government is concerned about patient data being leaked or misused. The Tatas, Reliance, among others, have invested in the e-pharmacy space. A Surat court finds Rahul Gandhi guilty of defamation in a 2019 case for targeting Prime Minister Modi for sharing his surname with fugitive businessman Nirav Modi and Lalit Modi. Court sentences Rahul Gandhi to 2 years in jail and suspends the sentence for 30 days to give him time to appeal. Straight to the top story this evening, global markets remain on edge as the U.S. Fed hikes interest rates by 25 basis points despite the turmoil in the banking sector. Now, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said that the U.S. Fed remained focused on its fight to bring inflation down, signaling that there could be further rate hikes in the months to come. He described the Silicon Valley Bank as an outlier. The U.S. markets actually gained after the U.S. Fed's rate decision, as it was largely expected. The slump came after U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's statement on the banking crisis, leading to a fall in markets around the world. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told members of a Senate committee that she will not be considering a blanket insurance for bank deposits without congressional approval. Meanwhile, the Swiss Central Bank raised its benchmark interest rates by 50 basis points despite the Credit Suisse turmoil. This marks the fourth consecutive hike by the central bank. Let's listen in to Janet Yellen's comments that rattled the markets and her statement the day before. Take a look.
The steps we took.
Big global cues, royal sentiment on Dalal Street. Sensex and Nifty ended at the low point of the day, with bank stocks leading the decline. All the Nifty bank constituents ended in the red. Automobile companies are gearing up for price hikes amid rising inflation and upcoming BS6 Phase 2 regulatory norms. Maruti Suzuki has announced a price hike across its entire range. However, it has not disclosed the scale of the hike. Other companies, including Hero Motor Corp, will hike prices of its two-wheelers by 2% starting from April. Eicher Motors is mulling a hike of 2 to 5%. Tata Motors also announced a price hike of 5% for all of its commercial vehicles portfolio. Vedanta chairman Anil Agarwal has told CNBC-TV18 that he has no intention to sell any stake in the company. This clarification comes after Bloomberg reports said that Agarwal is considering the option of selling less than 5% stake in Vedanta. The report also mentioned that this decision will be taken as the last resort as debt continues to mount. The quarterly performance review of PSU banks is scheduled for this Saturday, the 25th of March. Sapna Das is here to tell us what we can expect. Sapna?
Well, this is primarily supposed to be a quarterly review meeting of the public sector banks, and this has been due for some time now. So, reviewing their overall performance, including credit growth, deposit growth, among other parameters. Also, a review of possible stock taking of the targets set out for various government schemes like your ECLGS, the PM Mudra Yojana, the Kisan Credit Card. But apart from this, given the overall global context, it's likely that some kind of a discussion or conversation between the government and the banks is possible in terms of how to be cautious and how to prevent any stress in the domestic banking system. And on this front, it could just be possible that banks could be issued an advisory kind of an advisory, a general advisory to be watchful, especially of large exposures, and to make sure that the payments are timely, the payment schedule is on the ball, and there should not be a miss on that front. Maybe even senior management of public sector banks could be sensitized in keeping their teams ready in terms of monitoring these exposures and sharing the data on a regular basis, not just with the central bank, that's a regulator, but probably also with the government. So there could be some conversation on this side. No 100% indications as of now, but it's not ruled out given the overall global context. Otherwise, it's primarily a quarterly review being taken by the finance minister of the PSBs.
All right, Sapna, many thanks for those details. Now, Surat Court has found Congress leader Rahul Gandhi guilty in a 2019 criminal defamation case filed by former Gujarat Minister Purnesh Modi. The case was filed against Rahul for targeting Prime Minister Modi for sharing his surname with fugitive businessmen Nirav Modi and Lalit Modi during a rally in Karnataka. The court sentenced Gandhi to 2 years in jail, but later suspended the sentence for 30 days to allow him to appeal in a higher court. Congress supporters took to the streets in various places as a show of support to Rahul Gandhi.
मालूम था पहले से ये लोग जज को बदलते गए, ये सारी चीजें करते गए, हमको तो अंदाजा लग रहा था, लेकिन हम कानून में विश्वास रखने वाले हैं, जुडिशरी में विश्वास रखने वाले हैं और कानून के तहत ही हम लड़ेंगे।
राहुल जी को इस सच्चाई को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि शब्दों की चोट शस्त्रों की चोट से ज्यादा गहरी और पीड़ादायी होती है, और शब्द जब अनर्गल और झूठे हों तब तो चोट और गहरी और कष्टदायी हो जाती है। इसलिए हमारी कानूनी व्यवस्था में अनर्गल बेतुके आरोप लगाने वालों पर सजा का सीधा प्राविधान है।
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, Centre seeks legal opinion as it considers regulations to curb operations of e-pharmacies. Details when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. Now, the government is seeking legal opinion on regulating e-pharmacies. We learn from sources that the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers has drafted regulations aimed at curbing the operations of e-pharmacies. The government is concerned about data leaks and misuse via these online platforms. Regulators have also issued show-cause notices to over 20 e-pharmacies. These companies have sought time to respond to notices. CNBC-TV18's Aishwarya Anand spoke to Tata 1mg's Prashant Tandon earlier this week on regulatory concerns, and here's what he had to say.
All of these are well governed by various laws and acts, and those independent acts can take action and should take action. And it's not an online debate. It's whether online or offline, if any sale is happening without a license, if sales are happening without prescriptions, if sales are happening of fake medicines, all of that, there are laws that govern that, and those laws are sufficient and take care of it.
And with e-pharmacies coming under the scanner, what impact could this have on existing investors? Aishwarya Anand is here with the industry landscape. Aishwarya?
That's right. Since the beginning of the pandemic, over $700 million have been invested in e-pharmacy players. Some of the world's largest venture investors, including Sequoia, Temasek, Prosus and TPG, are now facing a risk of seeing their investments evaporate without an IPO or an acquisition as an exit option. PharmEasy pulled its IPO papers last year and is now facing the hurdle. Over $1.6 billion have been invested in the online pharmacy player. It has even made some large-ticket acquisitions, picking up MedLife and even the listed Thyrocare to grow its diagnostic business. It's not just venture investors at risk here. Some of India's largest conglomerates have an exposure too. Tata has a controlling stake in 1mg and pumped in $40 million just 6 months ago. When it comes to NetMeds, it was acquired by Reliance Retail in mid-2020. Now, while the concept of e-pharmacy caught up in 2015, it was the pandemic that drew investor interest. As you can see, before the pandemic hit, only 3 million people were ordering medicines online. Now, once the lockdown was imposed within 2 months, that number went up to 9 million. It's estimated that 70 million people would be ordering medicines online by 2024, following the trends in e-commerce, supported by a growing internet user base. As it stands, the e-pharmacy market in India is valued at about $350 million. While there are about 50 companies operating in this space, the online pharmacies account for only 1.5 to 3% of the total pharmacy sales in India, which stands at over $10 billion. That despite the surge during the pandemic, the domestic e-pharmacy market is still in its infancy stage. Netmeds, Tata 1mg and PharmEasy together hold 80% of the total market share. It is these market leaders and their investors who are most at risk if the government takes a U-turn on e-pharmacy.
Right, Aishwarya, many thanks for those details. Now on to the divestment of Air India Engineering Services Limited. Aviation Secretary Rajiv Bansal had told CNBC-TV18 that the reserve price for divestment will be decided closer to the date of inviting bids. CEO of the company, Sharad Agarwal, has made a pitch to potential interested bidders, calling AIESL gold mine. Speaking to CNBC-TV18, he said AIESL recorded a revenue of over 1,500 crore rupees for the last 3 years and has the potential to do 5 times more than the current revenue. Take a look.
AIESL by itself is a gold mine. Highly talented and experienced pool of aircraft maintenance engineers. Not just that. Hangars located at 7 different locations in India, covering the entire span of India. Line maintenance presence at nearly 100 airports in India. Our average revenue for last 3 years has been 1,500 CR plus. We have a revenue potential at least 5 times this if properly invested.
Would you think that interested parties would have an issue with the valuation or what the company is expecting or what the government will expect?
See, it's going to be competitive bidding. So my evaluating it doesn't really matter. What matters is who bids the highest. And the highest bidder gets the company.
Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said that India was seeing an average of 966 new COVID-19 cases per day lately. That's significantly higher than the 108 cases per day during the second week of February. However, the Secretary said that there is no evidence of higher hospitalization or mortality and added that the government was prepared for any uptick. Abhimanyu Sharma is here with the details. Abhimanyu, what else has the Health Secretary said?
The global COVID pandemic is yet to get over as over 94,000 COVID cases are being detected globally on a daily basis. That's the word coming in from the Union Health Secretary, as he said that India is prepared to deal with any uptick in the number of COVID cases, though he said that there is no alarm as far as the situation is concerned. Advisory had been issued to various states earlier, and 2% of incoming international passengers are being randomly tested since the past 6 months, and there is no plan to increase the percentage of testing at airports. It remains to be seen what further action will be taken by the states in this regard, since they have been asked to remain prepared for mock drills and ensure that there is ample preparedness to deal with COVID cases. As of now, mostly the Omicron variant is being detected in the COVID cases which are currently present in India. There has been a slight uptick in the number of COVID cases from February to March. The largest number of COVID cases as of now in India are in Maharashtra, followed by Gujarat and Kerala. The currently observed cases have not really shown any evidence of any increase in hospitalization or fatality. It remains to be seen what further action will be taken by the government as well as by various states, even as they enhance preparedness to deal with the rise in COVID cases.
So an uptick in COVID cases there. Thank you so much for those details, Abhimanyu. Now, Bengaluru-based auto booking app Namayatri has been onboarded by the Open Network for Digital Commerce on its Open Mobility Network. Namayatri was launched by JustPay Technologies in partnership with Bengaluru drivers, allowing drivers to offer their services directly to customers with zero commission. ONDC CEO T. Koshi also spoke to CNBC-TV18, sharing his vision for the Open Mobility Network. Take a look.
Around 40 to 45,000 auto drivers who have signed up, and last I think 2 days before we had the peak, which is like 15,500 rides per day, right? And it is growing pretty much. It looks like exponential growth. Our estimate is there is 5 to 10 lakh trips which are going on every day, right? Maybe 10 lakh, right? Out of that, I think we are right now a small percentage, right? 15% is small, right? But it is growing very fast.
But have there been any conversations so far with Ola or Uber? Any indication, any willingness to join ONDC?
I've heard people making money. We have had some conversations, but nothing had been yet firmed up. And I believe it's a matter of months before which they will start doing.
When you launch, even with the retail, the grocery delivery services, would Amazon, would Flipkart join the network? Now we've seen Snapdeal take its first orders. What about the others?
Like I said, Snapdeal is fully live now. And then the Amazon officially announced that their logistics part is going to be integrated. And the others, they said, we are considering that we have not taken a decision. These are all public statements, I don't know. Same is with Flipkart also. Their e-cart is integrated and the remaining has not integrated. My hope and belief that eventually they'll become a part of this large network.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Many thanks for watching. The news continues on the other side. Stay tuned.